Hi, welcome to Together Time with Kids, where I share budget-friendly activities for busy parents and caregivers to spend meaningful time with their kids. Today, we'll be learning about science. For today's science learning activity, we are going to start off by reading or listening to a story called Ada Twist Scientist by Andrea Beaty. Then we'll do a pepper and soap experiment. We'll have the children gather their materials, make a plan, make their own prediction, test their hypothesis, and then compare their results. So for the beginning of the activity, you can either get the book Ada Twist Scientist from your local library, or you can purchase it online at Bookshop, Amazon, or a local bookstore. There's also a really cool online read aloud from an organization called Storytime from Space. And from Storytime from Space, real astronauts read stories while they're currently in space. So you can watch that recording for free on YouTube, and you can follow along with the astronaut who will be reading Ada Twist Scientist. So during the story, you can talk about the scientific process that Ada Twist goes through. And also while you're reading the story, you can practice retelling the story with your child, which will help with some literacy outcomes as well. So types of questions that you can bring up can be, what do you think will happen next? What do you predict will happen next? Now, after the story, you can talk about how now your child is going to do their own science experiment, just like Ada Twist. This experiment will involve getting a bowl of water, sprinkling pepper all over the surface of the water, and then adding dish soap and seeing what happens to the pepper when you add dish soap. It's helpful to have multiple bowls so that you can redo the experiment a couple of times and maybe change some of the variables, like how much dish soap is being added. I encourage you to have the child gather the materials so that it's really a hands-on experience and an authentic learning experience for them to be the ones that are conducting this science experiment, so that they can gain that confidence that I can do a science experiment. So once all of those materials are gathered and you have them together, you'll want to set up the experiment. What you'll do first is get a bowl, a gray bowl. You can talk about the color of your bowl, and maybe the 3 bowls you have are different sizes. You can talk about how some are bigger than others or smaller than others. Next, you'll want to have 1 cup of water. So I would encourage you to have your child measure out the 1 cup and talk about where the line is to pour to on your measuring cup, and point out that you pour to the 1, pour to the line, and this is 1 cup of water. And it's okay if some spills out. The main goal is that any amount of water is in your bowl, so it's okay if there's some spillage that happens. So I would really encourage you to let your child be the one to pour the water into the bowl. So go ahead and have your child pour the water on in. Ooh. And then you're going to want to sprinkle 1 tablespoon of pepper, on top of your water. So I've got a little bowl of pepper and my tablespoon measurement. So again, this is just about having pepper on the surface of the water. So I would really encourage you to let your child be the one in control of this. So allow them to measure out 1 tablespoon. And then you can talk about how different 1 tablespoon compared to 1 cup is, and how 1 tablespoon is a lot less than 1 cup. So let them make those observations and point out on the tablespoon measuring spoon where it says that label so that they can start to recognize what that looks like. If you're learning letters right now, it's a great opportunity to discuss the letters that are on the measuring cup and tablespoon. So then what you're gonna do is just sprinkle this pepper all over the surface of the water. And you can be the judge of if you need 2 cups of water, maybe you only need 1 teaspoon of pepper. If you see that this was a lot or not enough, then you can adapt this lesson to whatever at-home materials you had access to. All right, so now that we've got water on the surface of we've got pepper on the surface of our bowl of water, we're going to take our dish soap. I have just some Dawn dish soap from my kitchen. So then what we'll do is drop 1 drop of water, 1 drop of dish soap onto the surface. And it's really important before you do the drop of the dish soap in the water to ask your child to make a prediction. So having this pause and the discussion about predictions is what will elevate this to meet the science learning outcomes. So right now, you should be asking your child, what do you predict will happen when we add in the dish soap? So use that word predict and ask them to use it in a sentence too. So you can model it. If they're not doing it, you can say something like, well, I predict that the pepper will jump out of the bowl. Now I'm going to show you the experiment in action.
All right, so now we are going to add the dish soap to our bowl of water that has pepper. We've already made our predictions. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Whoa!
Whoa, what happened? So now you can talk to your child about what they observed in that experiment, what happened when you added dish soap, and how the result compares to your predictions. So for the example I gave, I could say something like, well, I predicted that the pepper would jump out of the bowl. Did that happen? No, the pepper went to the edge of the bowl. Ooh, should we try that experiment again? And at that point, you can get out the other 2 bowls and have them repeat the experiment a couple times. And maybe you can see what happens when there's more or less dish soap and compare the results to each other. The science of this experiment is that the pepper is floating on the surface of water due to surface tension. The molecules on the surface of the water hold on to each other so tightly that they create a strong layer that keeps the pepper afloat. But once the soap is dropped into the water, it breaks the surface tension and the pepper shoots away. So thank you for joining me for this science learning plan. Science experiments like this pepper and soap experiment offer opportunities for real-world experiences since children are able to explore different scientific phenomena. In this experiment, children get to learn hands-on about surface tension, and they get to practice new vocabulary words like predict, experiment, and result. So thank you for joining me, and please join me next time with Together Time with Kids as we go into different learning plans and explore some other fun at-home activities. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.